because when we were out there, I talk all over the United States and and literally the world. In fact, I speak Thai, which does me a lot of good in South Florida. So glad I know how to speak Thai. But in talking, what we're finding is so many people have their business, and their exit strategy is, I'm going to sell the business and then retire. Whether they're in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, that's kind of like the goal. It's like, I got this great business, and I'm going to sell this puppy, or I'm going to exit it in a great way, and I'm going to retire, and I'm going to have this wonderful lifestyle. And to throw kind of some cold water on that, only 10% of companies in the United States can sell at any price. 10%. Ouch. So we're here today to increase your odds. So you want to be one of the 10%, right? Would that be a good thing? Okay. Now, what you're going to hear today is a couple things. Here's our vision. We just want to see every small business owner pass from a job to long-term wealth and earn what they deserve, right? That's a good thing. And here's our mission. We've just come together, Todd, Allan, and I, and we just want to partner with you to create maximum business value so that you can have a comfortable lifestyle now, okay? Because most of you, you're not retiring tomorrow. You want to have a comfortable lifestyle now. You want to be free of money worries. Is that okay? Anybody want to be free of money worries? Is that all right? And obviously, eventually, you want to retire to a comfy lifestyle. Okay, you don't want to work all this time for nothing. So we're going to talk about 3 topics today, just to start giving you some ideas, get you thinking. The first one is Todd Friedman's going to talk about some financial issues, because here's the point. If you're going to exit your business, you kind of want to know, like, when should you do that? You with me? All right? The timing is so important. And so Todd's going to talk, for example, about Social Security, because it would probably be a good idea if you knew what you're going to get with Social Security, so you could kind of time when you should sell your business or not. Okay? And he's going to talk about some other things, because one of the biggest problems people have, and Todd's going to address this issue, is they sell their company and they put $1 million in the bank. They think, I got $1 million, I can retire. I got $1 million. Well, for 75% of you, that $1 million is going to be gone in about 3 years. He's going to share that with you. And then Allan's going to come up. Allan's our business broker. He's going to talk about business strategies, because there's a lot of different strategies, isn't there? Right? He's going to start to give you a feel for these different strategies so you can start to think about it. Okay? And then I'm going to come up and close out and share with you the #1 strategy that you can do to increase your valuation now so you can sell this thing. Now here's the caveat. Here's the caveat. You can't use this strategy if you want to sell your business in the next 3 years. Okay? If you want to sell your business in the next 3 years, you need to run that walk to Ellen over there and kind of figure out what to do. Okay? But if you've got 3 years, I'm going to give you the #1 strategy to really make your business worth a lot more than it is today, so you get some money. Good? Sound like a some good time?
Yes.
So, we're going to have Todd come up first. He's just switching the thing here, and he will talk to you about timing and how to do that kind of stuff. So, Todd,
Thanks, boss.
take it away. Here's the clicker. I need some more coffee because I'm not wound up at all. Okay.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Thanks for coming. I'll let you read that. I won't read it all to you. A couple of my highlights. I guess my biggest one was I hit a milestone last year. I turned 50. It was very exciting.
All right.
I never thought I'd make it.
But I hit 60, so good.
Probably because I went to West Point and I was in the military for too long also. But anyway, I'm with a company called Mass Mutual Financial Group. And if you take anything away from my presentation, what it's going to be is, my whole function in this is to help people get peace of mind and feel confident in their decisions that they're making when it comes to finances, when it comes to protecting assets, and when it comes to just making good decisions. All right, because we've got a professor over here, and I'm going to challenge you a little bit, right? At the end of my presentation, if I remember, I turned 50, my memory's terrible now, but I'm going to try and ask you if you got something out of this that you didn't already know. Because so many of my clients are more educated than I am. They're doctors, they're lawyers, they're PhDs, and when we get done with the process, they go to me, how come I didn't learn any of this stuff in school? And so what hopefully you'll take from this is there might be some things that maybe I can do a little bit better, or some things that I'm just not doing at all that I never thought about. You'll find I like to add a little bit of humor to my presentations. If you can't read that in the back, it says if we take a late retirement and early death, we'll just squeak by. You know, unfortunately, a lot of people feel that way today. And hopefully by the time we're done with this, you might feel like there's a chance that maybe there's some things I can do to help myself. I'm not going to go through and read all these, but what I want to do is, a lot of times we'll lay awake at night and we'll think about some of these things. Business owners are going to say, you know, God, I hope my business sells, right? And as Allan Chip just said, it's true. Only 10% of businesses sell when they want to a ready, willing, and able buyer. I mean, that's a scary statistic, isn't it? What if I'm saving money in the wrong place? You know, what am I going to outlive my money, right? Am I going to live too long, right? You don't want to run out of money. You're hoping like the last check you write is to the mortician. That's kind of the goal, right? Taxes. Who here thinks taxes are going to go up? Anybody? Anybody think they're going to go down?
No preference, no preference.
What if I die too early? Disability, you know, a lot of people don't realize that their greatest asset is their ability to make a living. Is your income protected? You know, I had my own personal story where, you know, I owned a healthcare company years ago out in Northern California. And my business partner ended up in a car accident and put her head in the windshield of a car. And I thought I was a really smart kid, right? I was 27 years old. I owned this healthcare company, had 32 employees, and we were running 5 clinics and a home care division. And at that moment, I realized not only did we not have disability insurance, but we didn't have a buy-sell agreement in case of disability, right? So I had my own personal experiences of being totally unprotected in the event of these terrible things that happen. It made my life much more uncomfortable than it should have been. And then some of the other things, there's no market volatility today. Long-term care costs and expenses. This is something I'm going to share some information, but a lot of people don't realize the number one risk to your wealth are going to be long-term care costs and expenses. Anybody have any idea what I mean by that?
Yeah.
What do you think I mean by that?
Well, you've got to protect yourself and your family against the potential of having some illness or need as you age for long-term care, whether it's disability or being in a assisted facility.
Sure.
And these are huge costs.
Perfect, exactly. And so what happens is a lot of people don't plan for that. And so I'll just give you a good example. Let's pretend like I worked my whole life and I saved up $1 million. If I don't have a plan for those costs and expenses, what do I have to do with that $1 million? What do I have to do? I have to save it. Exactly, I have to save it. I have to preserve it.
Yeah.
So then what that means is you have to go to plan B, which is I'm going to live on interest. Anybody ever heard that statement, I'm going to live on the interest? Right? Okay, if you can't risk that money today, and you're going to live on interest, can you share with me what interest rate you're going to get on saved money today?
0.5%.
1% maybe.
Okay, 1. I'm going to be really generous. Let's say 3%, which isn't true, but I'll say 3, right? What's 3% of $1 million? 30,000. Okay, 30,000, which there's going to be tax taken out, but let's pretend like it's tax-free. You're a millionaire, but you get to live on 30,000. How much fun is that going to be? Not much. Not much. So that's going to be something I'm going to share more info. What if you get sued? Is your money in the right place? You know, Florida's a pretty good state, as most people know, for getting sued and protecting assets. Social Security is going to be a big portion of my talk. Because Social Security for a lot of people will be a significant part of their income for retirement. And a lot of people don't realize that there's an awful lot of choices to make, and you only get one time to make it, and when you make that decision, what if it's not the right one? And then of course divorce, how's that going to impact you and your business? This is kind of what I call my fire drill, right? If you're any professional, and I'd be more than happy to email it to you, you can take a picture, that's fine.
Well, I want to get a picture of you. What are you talking about here?
But what I'm going to do is kind of talk about some of these things. And I want everybody to know in here, I'm a resource. So if you want to talk about anything on this page, you can call me. I'm not going to charge you to sit down and talk. There's not a fee to talk to me. And if I can help you, I want to help you, right? If I can fix some things for you and you like and trust me, then I'll help you with that. If you don't like and trust me, then I'll point you to somebody else that might be able to help you, okay? Or if you just prefer somebody that's better looking or younger or prettier, that's fine too. This is, see, you opened up the wrong file. I didn't have this in there, but I'll just kind of share it anyway. I'm just going to let you kind of read this stuff, but this is some alarming data up here. So when you look at the importance of Social Security as an overall program within this country, when you start to see things like 52% of couples and 74% of individual retirees get more than half their income from Social Security, it kind of gives you an idea just how important some of these programs are, right? And then what's even worse is this one right here. As far as looking at an optimal retirement, we have different categories to put things in. And one of the things that we try to do is make sure that all these areas are taken care of. You know, right? We want to make sure we have enough guaranteed income. We want some area for growth. What about inflation? We got to have some liquidity. What if we need a new roof for the house, or we want to, repair, have a flood or something? Some people are interested in legacy, right? Maybe some people want to leave something for their kids, grandkids. The grandkids thing, that's the guilt thing. I gotta leave something for the grandkids. And then the healthcare, we just talked about that, and Doug mentioned long-term care planning, right? That's an important component. And it's a big wheel, and all these things work together. So if you're missing part of your wheel, it doesn't roll very well now, does it? So we want to make sure your wheel has all the pieces in all the right places. Now this is going to be kind of hard to read, but I'll kind of share it with you. As Doug mentioned, these are for those unplanned long-term care costs and expenses. Anybody have any idea what the probability is that you're going to need care later on when you're older? What do you think the probability is? What's pretty high?
Right.
Right? The number today is 70%. 70%. What's the probability that your house is going to burn down? Yeah, not very high, right? What's the even though it is South Florida, what's the probability that you're going to total your car? Don't answer that one. So anyway, one of the things we talk about, like, what's the probability that you're going to become too sick or too injured to work? Anybody know what the probability of that is?
60%.
For women it's 1 in 4. For men it's 1 in 5 that you will be disabled, right? So those are pretty high. But long-term care costs and expenses is way higher than all of them. So just hypothetically, here today, in South Florida, a daily rate in a skilled nursing facility is about $207 a day, okay? But we know that's today. So if we take 5% inflation, right, which is a conservative number for healthcare, right? So I'm 50 years old. So I'm going to project out that I'm going to live a healthy life, and at 80 years old, I'm going to start getting care, right? So we'll go down to 30 years, right? See, 30 years from now, and that number right there is 823. So we went from 200 to 823. Well, 823 is a pretty significant number now for a daily rate, right? That's just inflation. So if we take that same 20 years, and I end up needing 3 years of care, who can read that number? Anybody? $947,000 if I just get 3 years of care. The average woman uses 3 years of care, 3.8. The average man uses 2.7, right? 75% of the residents in a nursing home are female. You know why? Because men die because they want to.
We're tougher, we're stronger.
Sorry, but it's true. It's true. And the reason why I share this is because if you haven't integrated a plan, now I'm not saying everybody has to do this. If you don't have any assets, then don't worry about it. There's a program for you already. It's called Medicaid, right? The government has a program for you. If you're very affluent, if you feel like you can self-insure, you can do that. But the problem is when you look at a husband and a wife, if she uses 3 years of care, he uses 2, that's 5, and I go over here to 5 years of care, right? I'm at $1.5 million. So my feeling is, my wife and I, do I want to sit around with $1.5 million of assets in my savings account? Or do I want to spend all my money like a drunken sailor because I have an insurance policy that can pay this crap? Right? Which is my preference. What do you think I do? I pass the buck to the insurance company. That's exactly what I do. This is always an interesting slide. Who said taxes they think are going to go up? Right? Who thinks they're going down? Anybody? Who doesn't care? Who's moving out? Who's moving to Canada or Europe? Not England today. This is an interesting slide because a lot of times my clients don't realize how different assets behave when it comes to tax diversification. And so when I talk to people and I said, so are you diversified? And they say, yeah. And I go, well, what does that mean to you? And they say, well, I got stocks, I got bonds, I got mutual funds. And I said, okay, so can you share with me what tax-free assets you have? If taxes go up, then I get a blank look. And so the problem is, a lot of people, and I know my generation is included, we were told the 401k is the best asset in the world. That was like the best invention since sliced bread, right? A 401k basically means you have gone into partnership with every government agency available. Because you avoid paying taxes today, and then in the future, I'm going to take money out. And every dollar I take out is fully taxable at whatever the tax rates are, and I have no control over that. 100% taxable. So people will say, well, I got $1 million in my 401k. Not really. If 401k ain't tax-free. So the problem is our generation and many other ones have been told that this is a wonderful thing. I'm not saying it's a horrible thing, but I'm saying if you show up at retirement and everything is sitting in here, you may be surprised to realize that your cash flow and your income isn't exactly what you thought it was going to be. And so other assets are, for example, if I pay tax today, if I believe the taxes are a lower rate today than they're going to be in the future, then I would probably want to consider one of these types of assets. Because everything comes out, how's it come out?
Tax-free.
Tax-free, that's a good thing. And my personal feeling is I don't really care what the tax rates do. I just want a lot of tax-free income. That's what I like. I like tax-free. And this other stuff is partially taxable. Does that make sense? Anybody seen stuff like this? Now what I'm going to do is talk really specifically about Social Security and the Social Security program. Now, some people may look at this, and I know there's a couple of younger folks in here, but the more you know early on, the better you can plan for later. Does anybody want to read all this stuff? These are all the disclaimers they make me do in my business because I have a license. I'll send it to you if you like. Recently, there was an act passed, the Bipartisan Budget Act of 2015. Anybody heard of this? No. All right, you heard it, right? What was it?
It was a method by which they created a diminution of Social Security options for spouses and other technical ways to lower Social Security.
Yeah, they figured out that there was a strategy people were using to get more money, so they called it a loophole. So they closed the loophole, right? That's what that was all about. So now we actually just have fewer options, but there's still a lot of them. Here's what I'm going to kind of talk about today. I'm not going to cover a lot of the Bipartisan Act because a lot of those timelines have already expired. So if you had to do something and you didn't already do it, the toothpaste is dried out on the counter.